Hey everyone, welcome to Breakout Wednesday for the 24th of September 2025. It's currently 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast. First of all, remember, this is never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a video blog on how one trader sees a market, and everyone needs to take responsibility for all their own decisions. Here's a chart of the Dow Jones uptrend. The chart of, I always get that wrong, NASDAQ 100 uptrend. Let's just have a look at chart of the All Ords. You can see how it's like had this broken up trend, then kind of a little down leg, and now just sideways. So potentially we've just been consolidating here, and it might break there and have a down leg. And so definitely open to that. And this is also just a few signs of weakness, like there's been fake outs in some big leaders like Amazon, fake out, breakdown. Some of these names rolling over is sometimes a sign of things to come. So probably wouldn't be the end of the world, the worst thing in the world for the markets to have a chill out and a bit of a down leg. And managing it is, it's hard. And it's in the trading account, it's like, you've got your entries, you've got your stop losses, you've got your risk management, and it's just do it, right? Like that's all locked down, right? You shouldn't be second guessing anything. If you are, you need to get shit together because you don't have a plan, you don't know what you're doing, right? But then how do you manage these things? How do you trade it? Because there's always opportunities in the market. You can either sit on your hands and do nothing, just wait for the market to just settle down and do its thing. I'm not saying we're going to have a down leg, by the way. I'm just, it's once you see these patterns, you just need to plan for everything. Two, you can be active and actually try and trade the down leg. Okay, there's all the sorts of ways to do it. Like, you could short stuff. You can use CFDs to short indices or stocks. You can get complex and you can start, short in SPY, Aussie futures and all that sort of crap. But I wouldn't advise it unless you really know what you're doing. But there's all sorts of stuff. But you can do what most people do and manage their stock positions, get stopped out if the stops get hit, and then monitor the market, wait for the best signals, and just keep taking them. All right. And so anyway, I just thought I'd discuss that briefly, just to be open-minded about that possibility. Now, some of the trades, MIN, I was chatting with Polo during the week. I bailed at this at break even, and now it's closing on its high today. So I still, very good chance this thing's going a lot higher. I've just had a decent little patch, and I'm wary of giving much back, and so I bailed at break even. So that's that for me. I'm never scared to paper cut myself. It's like what Minervini always talks about. He sometimes gets in and gets out on the same day or within hours or within days if something's not acting right. And it's just I went back, like my 2024 financial year was much better than my 25 financial year in terms of my trading results, and I went back through it all, and the only thing I really changed in the 25 financial year was that I was given wider stops. All right. My results go up when I just ruthlessly cut stuff. Like if it either breaks out with big volume and it does what I want, or I cut, and that's what I was doing in the 24 financial year aggressively, and I did, and the results were spectacular because I had zero big losses. Actually, that was the only big one I had was Domino's that year because it gapped on me. But other than that, no big losses. Okay, and the Domino's loss was quickly made back due to it being a great year for trading. Most years are good for trading though, right? So I think moving forward, I'm going to get back to what I do best, which is ruthlessly cutting anything that's not making me money. Okay, because I wasn't quite happy. I still had an okay year with the 25 fin year, but just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. So that's what's going to be doing different, and it will mean, and it does mean, that I will get cut and chopped out of many winners, because if it stuffs around and I get out, no problem. I just want those aggressive breakouts that go bang, right, and just I'm making money from the first second. That's where most of my profits come from, no matter what, right? Like this breakout back here, see, bang, right? And that's the sort of thing you want to stick with. Okay, now let's move into another one, PDN. All right, I know there's a lot of people in PDN. It's poked its head above there, so we'll see how she goes. BCI, talking about stuff that is, or this is 100%, this is BCI, right? It was hard. I'm in this. It was hard to get many at 365. I had to pay up and pay 3.7. Never give a shit about a bad fill. Okay, the worse fill, the better. Go back and read, that first Stock Market Wizards book and where they interviewed Minervini. It's from the 80s, but I read it in the late 90s, I think. But anyway, and Minervini talks about this. I think he was interviewed in like the late 80s or early 90s or something. But he was talking about, shit fills are great because there's competition for that stock. It shows that there's no one wanting to sell. Very few people want to sell, never want to buy it. So it's like the fills on this were hard, but I managed to get some on. I just had to pay up a little bit, and then I've never ever for 1 millisecond been losing money on this trade. Okay, closed on a tie, went up the next day, went up, boom. All right, and so this is where I make money, guys. Like these setups where they just break out and bang, okay? And that's what my focus is going to be on, 100%, and just ruthlessly slashing anything that's showing me red, all right? What else was there? Well, I didn't take the LYC, but man, holy shit, this thing flagged, broke out. I talked about it, didn't take it, bit pissed with myself. I did scalp ABB, in and out of that quickly. I talked about it last week, the inside bar scan, just a quick short winner. I love scalping inside bar breaks, guys. I just think there's such edge in it. I encourage you to, you need time. You need to be around if you want it. It's kind of like it's quasi day trading, isn't it? You need the time to monitor it. If you don't, then just stick to your position trading. It's way better, safer. What else was there, guys? Zim, volatile, nice breakout yesterday. Wicked up, closed down, then today. Up okay, so let's just see. I love this base. It's volatile or hell. It loves to give wicks. It's gonna chop. I just think it's not that liquid. It did 1.3 million today. It's not that liquid, is it? Only 72,000 shares. It's gonna bob around. So just get mentally ready for that, and we'll see how it goes. So initial stop for me, right? Breaks out here, got initial stop down here. This is my worst point scenario, okay? Comes up there, out. Okay, but now I'm in, I'm like, okay, I'm showing profit now. And so I'm moving my stop up, okay? And I've got it, just below here. So it's all about, it's just my brokerage fees are so low, and I've just got to manage these because what I don't want is big losses, okay? I need to avoid this ever happening to me again. I talked about it at the time, okay, but this is, I did one exception with this. I didn't slash this quickly enough. So I was in here. This is Domino's, right? For new members who weren't around. Lovely setup, okay? I'm always going to take this setup, by the way. Broke out, showing me profit, good. Came back, it's allowed one break test of the resistance turn support. That's that test. Rallied, didn't break the old high, pulled back a little bit. Earnings was coming and held into earnings and bang. Okay, that was my biggest loss of that year. It's one of my biggest losses in my life, actually. Because it was I'd gone big on that position, and it was one of the biggest losses of my life. Anyway, can laugh about it now because it was years ago, but it's it's funny how hard it is at the time mentally. But anyway, let's not go into that. And so I should have ruthlessly cut this before earnings. When it came back this second time and failed to break there, bang, it should have been out, okay? So this is what I'm trying to avoid, because that hurts your P&L so much. Like, it just is so hard. I had a great year that year because I got a lot right. Like the NVIDIA trade, that was that year. AMD, NVIDIA, that was the one where I was like, those who remember, I was going big and put in, a lot of my account in the NVIDIA position and all that sort of shit. So I had a great year that year, right? But this was just one of those things that, happens. But I'm trying to avoid that, guys, because that's what hurts your account, okay? So look what it's done since, by the way, Imagine you just hung on there and thinking, I'll just be a long-term investor now, it'll come back. Well, no, that gap never got filled, probably never will. And then I was getting out at like 43 or whatever the hell it was, and now it's at 13. So anyway, I got way distracted then. What was another stock? K. Now, another thing to talk about. Love this setup. perfect bang, but we're playing in the mining space in, sometimes pre-revenue stocks that always need capex requirements and always got to raise cash, blah blah blah, cap raise. Okay, let's see how it goes. Not every, you see you get a cap raise, everyone's like, oh shit, it's going to gap down, it's going to but we don't know the details of the price of the raise yet. And I remember there's been a lot of stocks I've been in cap raise wise. Platinum recently had a cap raise that price didn't get hammered. And back when I was riding Platinum in 2003 or 4, you can go back and look at the pattern, one of the best ascending triangles you'll ever see. I remember it got stuck in a cap raise then and it gapped up, right? The next day when it came back. So, open mind, okay, let's just see what happens. It may gap down, may not, may just wick down, wick up. I'm not sure, but it's anyone's guess, okay? But if you're going to play in the cheap end of town, I'm sorry, you're going to get stuck in cap raises. If you don't want to get stuck in cap raises, don't trade specs. Don't trade, shit without money in the bank. Trade companies with good cash flow, because this is why a lot of these companies go to the list on the stock market to start with, right? Because they need cash. And that's the whole point of the stock market. It's a ready available source of funds. You keep going to your bloody brokers who are like parasites, and they just keep raising money off suckers, okay? And it's like this endless party where they can just raise money, give each other directors' fees, big salaries out of the yin yang, and hopefully one day strike gold, okay? But quite often not, but quite often the directors still win, okay? So do the brokers. All right, I'm ranting heaps today. Now let's get into new setups. I think I've talked about most of the ones, but I'm already been 11 minutes, so I need to get the hell on with this. ALNT on the NASDAQ, tightening, might break down out of there though, okay? Just got that little rollover feeling with Amazon that's, maybe it's going to happen in a few others, but it does look nice. AVLV on the NASDAQ, just, okay, gap up here on good earnings, spike, base in, flat, high, base, boom, okay. Bread and butter shit, HTGC, okay, this one might roll over too. It's got that little, I want to break support and roll over look, doesn't it? But really tight, Bollinger Band's tight. If that doesn't roll over or fakes out and comes up, and then bang, I'll trade that breakout, so it's on the watch list. LFUS, okay, tightening, let's see what she does, but it's like all the other setups, isn't it? Okay, they all look the same. And just, NTRS, beautiful setup, faked me in last night, I'm in that. I got in by a few ticks, so I'm going to need to take a paper cut unless that gups up tonight and gets on with it. That is life. Shit, what else was there? One sec. No, that was it. That's all I wanted to talk about tonight, guys. If you're not yet in the trading room, get in there because it's been going off lately. So much stuff, so much good stuff, so many good traders in there now. The comp's been doing well, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And it's been making me some money, like there's some people posting setups that I've missed, and I've been able to, miss fewer setups, and it's great, all work together to make money, right? That's why we're here, and that's what it's about. Cheers, mate.